Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Define Tomorrow, our Microsoft Cloud Conference. This is the second year that we're coming to you from a virtual environment, and this year we've upped the game a bit. We're maybe stepping into the metaverse. We're in our virtual Define Tomorrow Conference Centre, coming to you live from Disruptive Studios. Now, normally, those of you that attend Define Tomorrow will know that we normally have quite a focus on both Dell and VMware technology. With all the movement that's happened in the last 18 months, we've decided to showcase the Microsoft Cloud competencies that we have within Computer World and also relate those to the journeys that we see our customers going to. This has been a very strange time, the last 18 months, for lots of us, for many different reasons. And what I want to start by doing is thanking you, the IT professionals, my colleagues, and the partners of Computer World for all the hard work, effort, and energy that you have put into the last 18 months to be able to deliver what you have achieved. Next up, I just want to give you a bit of insight into Computer World, who we are and what we do. Those that work with us will know that we concentrate on three separate things: infrastructure modernization, workspace transformation, as well as security and protection. We offer a variety of different services, from pre-sales, design and architecture services, from consultancy services, managed services, support, training, and more. So if anything during this conference resonates with you, you would like to speak to a specialist about how you can develop these technologies inside your organization, please reach out and see how we could help you. We've got a jam-packed agenda over the next 2 days. Today, it's all about infrastructure. Those bits that the end users don't really care about. It's what goes on behind the scenes. The users don't care about it until it goes wrong. And then when it goes wrong, it's the most important thing to them. It will stop them doing their work. It will stop them being productive. So we need to make sure that our infrastructure solutions are bulletproof. They're able to meet the business needs. And then tomorrow, it's all about workspace transformation, everything that matters to your users. If you're an IT professional and you're watching this today, tomorrow is based at you, the IT professionals, but also your change champions, your Microsoft 365 champions inside your organization. So feel free to send them an invite. Get them to go over to live.computerworld.co.uk and they will be able to join in, understand the latest innovations in 365, how you can leverage them, and how they can make the most of them to deliver real positive outcomes from your organization. All of the content in the mornings will be recorded, so you'll be able to watch at your own leisure, keep up at your own pace. You'll even be able to pause it whilst the postman comes to your front door. The sessions in the afternoons are live sessions. They're not recorded. So if you are registered for a workshop session, please make sure you attend. The information you're going to get during those sessions is worth hundreds of pounds. We don't normally share this kind of information outside of a consultancy engagement. If you have any issues during Define Tomorrow, if you struggle, if you can't get into a session, if something's not quite right, please feel free to email either Megan or Georgia, and they will do their best to make sure you can get to the content that matters to you. We've got some fantastic presenters from Microsoft, from our partners, and from Computer World. I am so proud as to what we've managed to pull together and how the community has supported us. We've got great sessions covering a variety of different things today, from starting your Azure journey. We've got Shannon Keane helping you with automating an infrastructure as code inside of Azure. Shannon is a fantastic community champion and works directly from Microsoft, I believe, over in Redmond. We've got Neil from Nerdio, who will be joining Adam Gleason to talk all about Azure Virtual Desktop. We've got Sam from Ireland. We've got the guys from the Limerick Dell Centre. So whilst the content today is mainly around Microsoft, there is also good sessions about your VMware infrastructure, about your Dell hardware, and how you can bring that all together to support you in that cloud journey as well. I'd like to thank our partners for supporting us. Those of you that come to Define Tomorrow Live will know that we normally have 15 to 20 vendors in an exhibition hall, so you can walk around, you can see the technology, you're able to ask the questions that you want. It's difficult to do that in a virtual environment, so we've decided to have a focus group of partners today, led with Microsoft and what we're doing, but Dell, VMware, Arctic Wolf from a security perspective, Iland from a cloud perspective, and Orchestry tomorrow in everything to do with automating your Microsoft Teams and 365 deployment. Hopefully next year we'll get to in-person conferences, but in the meantime, there is live chat next to all of the sessions, so you can ask your questions and get live responses as you're watching the sessions. We've got a number of different giveaways and perks during the days. Those of you that are tuned into this, 50 people at random will get lunch on us. A Just Eat voucher will be with you by midday today as a thank you and to fuel you ready for the afternoon. Those that are joining the workshops in the afternoon, if you submitted your details, hopefully you've got your snack boxes to make sure you've got the energy to get you through those afternoon sessions. We also have our tech bundle consisting of the Amazon Alexa, the DJI drone and the VR headset. And for every session that you attend, you'll get another entry into that draw along with the Star Wars Lego as well. We also have other giveaways from the likes of Iland if you join their session. Head over to the perks page to see these, but also to see the sessions that you can book with our specialists to help you understand how you take the content from today and relate it to your organisation. That is at no cost. We want to assist you, we want to help you. Importantly, we want to make sure that we're positioning ourselves as someone you think of when you need help on your cloud journey. So let's get stuck into the main part of my keynote today. Now we've done the kind of the house, the maintenance, you know where the exits are, you know what's going on. Let's dig into the main subject. It's all about infrastructure modernisation. We've already said what infrastructure means. It's those supporting fabric. It's your virtual environment. It's your network. It's your cloud. It's all those elements that support your business in being successful. Don't forget, technology today is no longer just supporting your business, it is your business. How would your organisation cope for a day with no technology? And over the last 18 months, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot of change. There's been radical reinvention and inside our organisations as we've had to change to stay relevant, to adopt to the ways of working. And I like to think of the 3 R's. There's a number of people that talk about this, and there's a number of different R's that I've heard, but the point still goes the same. Over the last 18 months, we had to react to what was going on. We had to support the users going to work from home. We had to support our businesses in a change of business model to allow them to still be relative during those lockdown periods. We're now in a period where who knows what's going to come next. We've got the new variant that is upon us. What is that going to mean? What is that going to mean for our businesses? But most importantly, beyond COVID, the world has changed and it's not going back to the way that it was. We've kind of got this new hybrid world that we're heading towards, a digital first world that we need to be thinking of. So the first stage was all about reacting, helping the business, preparing the business, making sure we could still work. IT professionals pulled everything out of the bag. Technologies that would have took months to deliver were delivered overnight to make things work. And I congratulate you. It was a difficult period and you did amazing. The next phase, the important phase, is to reflect. We've got to take the time to stop. We've got to take the time to think what we did. We've got to take the time to think what was the strategy that we're on and where do we need to be going next. And this is a really important phase. The world of IT never stops, but the risk is if you do not take time to stop and reflect, how are you going to prepare for tomorrow? How are you going to make sure that your IT department, the technology inside your business, is best positioned to help your organisation moving forward? So it's time to think about how you are going to be reinventing, how technology is going to be reinventing inside your organisation. And if we look at the radical change that we've been through and the customer journeys that we've seen happen, and we've been on ourselves, there's been organisational shifts. You've all got to have that local pub that turned into a takeaway overnight. It was absolutely amazing. For me, living in the countryside, I had the best takeaways ever on my doorstep. But lots of other organisations have had to change. They've had to change to a digital-first way of thinking. They had to be able to deliver new experiences. We saw organisations speed up their journey to the cloud because simply they couldn't get into their data center to do what they needed. And it was simpler, more effective, and more safe for them to actually start that journey to the cloud. We've seen office consolidation where organizations that had big, luxurious offices in the center of London, the center of Bristol, have gone, actually, why are we paying this much? Our users are at home, we're still working, we're not sure what the future brings, but what we know is it's not going to be what it was in the past. So now is time to think about what we need in the future. And we helped organizations during this time, within months, move their infrastructure on their first step to the cloud. And that alone allowed them to save large sums on their office, to reinvest that money elsewhere in their business. We need to look at simplification of our data centers, supporting the refocus of IT. IT can no longer spend day and night looking after the virtual infrastructure, seeing what's going on with the virtual infrastructure, supporting it. It just needs to work because we've got to be supporting the business. We've got to be on a cloud journey. We've got to be on an innovation journey. And if your virtual infrastructure cannot support you on that, then it's not right for you. So a first step on many of this is actually starting where it all began, in the data center, to support you on that journey to the cloud. We've got to have increased focus on security and protection. Unfortunately, during these times, we've seen hackers infiltrating environments, increase in ransomware attacks because people were being leveraged because they're sat in their home. Maybe their guard isn't up as much as it was. We've got to change the way that we're thinking about security and have protection up front and not trying to put sticky plasters all over the problem. And finally, the piece here that many of you will have heard me speak about time and time again is all about the network. I believe the LAN is one of the most outdated concepts, and I've been saying this for a long time. And if many of you have had to spin up VPNs to be able to get users working, it really is a signal that the way that your applications are presented, the ways that your users are working, potentially isn't designed in the most effective way for moving forward. So now is the time to think about it again. Think about what the LAN is. Think about how you securely deliver applications and data to the devices that your users want to be using. Now, as we look into the industry, as we look into what we're being told, there are 4 areas of focus that Satya Nadella spoke about at Microsoft Ignite. The first is all about hybrid work, and we'll be concentrating on that mainly tomorrow. The next is about the hyper-connected business. This is all about everything being connected, data flowing from one application to another, sensors being used in some organizations to get us information about what's going on, business insights needed to help us support change and innovation inside our organizations. Everybody needs to be connected everywhere and have access to the applications and data that matter to them. A large part of what today's about multi-cloud, multi-edge computing. Whilst many of our customers are still on that journey from on-premises virtual infrastructures to the cloud, if we have a look at those that are kind of leveraging the latest technologies, it is actually about the right data, the right applications, the right workloads being in the cloud, but many next generation applications that are using things like machine learning needing to be out at the edge. So it's a real consideration, first of all, how we move to the cloud. The point here is, it is about cloud in Azure, in a centralized data center, but also you having cloud-like infrastructure that you're able to consume as you need, when you need, where it needs to be. And finally, zero trust. Everything needs to be built around zero trust, where you are giving away, you are allowing access to the pieces of data, information, applications that are needed when they need. No longer is it acceptable to have these big groups of free-to-roam networks where if a hacker gets in, he's able to infiltrate the rest of the environment. And we're seeing a number of trends when it comes to what we're seeing here. Every organization needs a flexible way to be able to roll out workloads, to be able to build, run, and manage them. A virtual infrastructure could be this if configured the right way. However, for many, the cloud is where this needs to be. Increasingly, because the speed of change is changing with inside organizations, we don't know what workload we're going to be deploying next. We're not sure how to best support that. And that's where having choice and flexibility will really matter. Many organizations are embracing the hybrid cloud. It isn't about moving everything from your data center to the cloud. This isn't like a physical to virtual migration. This isn't a virtual to cloud migration. This is about doing what's right for your organization. What can support your organization moving forward? What creates the best business case? And we're going to get into that a little bit more. We need to stop letting our technical debt stop us from moving forward. These are the business as usual systems that take so much of our time, that have so many support tickets, that our time is just held back, that we can't move forward. We need to find a way of moving away from them to allow us to reinvent, to stay relevant and move forward. IT needs to stop being that cost center that provides little value. They just keep the lights on. They need to provide real innovation for your organization. It's important that I believe moving forward, we need to be able to access the data inside our infrastructures. Us as techies, us as people, have spent too long collecting data, mountains of data, just in case we need to use it. But how can we leverage that to get real business insights? They say data now is worth more than oil. I believe that's only true if we can actually truly leverage it. And whilst we're not seeing it today, I think things like Azure Synapse are going to change the way organizations are able to get insights into their business, into what's going on. You've only got to look at, I think it was Audi that spoke at Microsoft Ignite, where they're now able to use the data over a complete buying cycle, from someone first hitting the Audi website to driving off that forecourt, to understand actually what the journey is likely to look like and how many of those customers are going to convert. That is across multiple disconnected systems. Think of the value that that kind of insight would give to your organization. What would that be worth to your organization? But the first step is all about having that data in a place where you could then connect it to these services in the future. Now, if you wait until you're asked to deliver that, you're then going to be 2, 3, 4 years away from being able to get to the point of data. This is about the groundworks. This is about laying the foundations to support you in that journey. And importantly, it is all about making sure that everything we do moving forward is secure as standard. We're building security in as we're deploying it. Gone are the days where we spent months building a system, implementing a system, and then at the last minute trying to secure it. That simply does not work anymore. So what I would like you to think about is, what is your strategy as an IT professional, as an IT architect, as an IT manager? What are you doing to reinvent technology inside your organization? How are you engaging with the business to say, actually, what do you need from technology? How can we support you better? We're no longer about just keeping the lights on. We want to help this organization, our business, innovate, move forward, be more competitive. How can IT, how can technology help you on that journey? And you'll be surprised by the response. Users, business leaders will welcome your openness, your desire to engage to help your organization. Think about, do you have the right skills in your department? How can you best prepare? How are you going to be preparing for your journey to the cloud? Maybe there are some elements here that you could be working with companies like us, like Computer World, to help you, to make sure you're upskilled, to make sure you've got the right strategy. What I want to go on to next is talking a little bit around some of the areas that maybe you could consider in your strategy. There's an area that Microsoft talk about around tech intensity. This is the ability that you inside your organization have to adopt new technologies, and then also the capabilities that you have within your team to not only just include IT in those conversations, but to include a wider group of people to deliver real value to your business. So what is your tech intensity score? How ready are you for this? And how can we help you up that score to deliver for your organization? Now, whilst many people are in the point where they are saying they are on a cloud journey, they've come to the fact where we're not going to refresh our virtual infrastructure because we are going to move to the cloud. We have a cloud-first strategy. If you dig a little bit deeper for a lot of organizations, this simply means they're not looking after the virtual infrastructure as much anymore. They've not prepared a plan, a budget to refresh it. And because the complexity in the cloud, because there are so many ways of doing it, because it's maybe not as simple as it was to go physical to virtual, all that's happened is a few workloads have gone to software as a service. So we've got Microsoft 365 on there as an example, but maybe you're using Salesforce.com, maybe you're using Xero, maybe you're using Workday from a HR perspective. And we really need to change that, because the risk here is, if we kind of have this plan where we're going to move to the cloud, we're not doing much to prepare for it, and the virtual infrastructure is getting older and older, it will become out of support. The SAN will fill up with space because you fin provisioned it. It isn't going to be ready for you to start that journey. And from that perspective, we need to plan this better. The virtual infrastructure needs to be simplified, it needs to support us on the journey, and we need to fully understand and consider what our journey to the cloud looks like. And this is where a large number of our customers are and have been, and we've been supporting them with. And for us, this is where our reignition of our partnership with Microsoft that I believe has been in place for over 20 years has happened. Us at Computer World have been on our own reinvention to reprioritize the Microsoft technologies that we've been dealing with for a very long time. From everybody from pre-sales to post-sales to support to sales professionals to marketing have been achieving qualifications to make sure we are the best organization to support you, that is able to support you and speak to you in the language that you want to help you understand, to deliver a customized strategy to you to Microsoft Azure. And why Azure? Many of our customers are already in the Microsoft cloud. They're already invested in Microsoft 365, maybe on an adoption journey, but maybe they then want to look at starting bringing workloads over. And because Microsoft has that trust, because they've got the trust center, they've got the compliance certifications, it's the natural place to go to consider how do we move these workloads from our virtual infrastructure and in to the cloud. So what does that cloud journey look like? Well, actually moving to the cloud doesn't actually mean moving to Azure, or moving to AWS, or moving somewhere else. That journey will look different for every organization. It will start with your virtual infrastructure and what you need. There are many customers that still need on-premises technology for reasons that are relatable to their business. Maybe they've got in-house developers that are leveraging it for test and development, and we will have seen a growth from movement from VMs to Kubernetes. That won't be there for all organizations. So maybe you need to think about how you turn your virtual infrastructure into one. If you're a smaller company with a very simple need, you are trying to be able to simplify your virtual infrastructure. Make sure you've got the performance, make sure you've got the space, make sure it's doing what you need to do. Or, second of all, if you've got a large investment in on-premises technologies, maybe you're buying into something like the VMware Cloud, where you're able to support both modern workloads in Kubernetes and the traditional workloads in VMs next to each other, bringing together both developers and also operations. But as we move out from there, it's about picking the right destination for each of the workloads inside your infrastructure. It's about the platform as a service, things like SQL as a service. It's leveraging software as a service for applications that you don't need to be running in VMs anymore. And for those traditional workloads, being able to move them quickly, easily, simply over to infrastructure as a service, but doing it the right way, managing costs, optimizing it, and creating that business case. Importantly, this is only possible with time, with planning. Moving to the cloud does not happen overnight if considered and if done right. So the first thing, that virtual infrastructure, consider how you're going to make sure that's maintained, that's looked after. Computer World have vSphere Maintain, where our managed services professionals are able to take a look at your virtual environment, look after your virtual environment to help support you moving forward so you can focus elsewhere inside your infrastructure. But moving to the cloud is only a journey itself. When you have your virtual machines move to the cloud in the relevant way, that's actually where the magic begins. That's actually where you start to get real business value. Because if you don't do anything after that point, all you've done is move virtual machines from left to right, from on-premises to the cloud. This is where you're able to leverage automation, attend Shannon Keen's session, and understand how you could automate your workloads. This is where you look at the manual steps that are inside what goes on and be able to change to developing your workloads in infrastructure as code. This is where you start to think, actually, do we need to be running that in a virtual machine anymore? Could we leverage native cloud services and then utilize some of the AI or ML services or the analytics service to be able to deliver real business value? This is where you look to refactor those applications. This is where you look to get insights for your data. So if you are already in the cloud, if you have already moved those workloads, stop and think, how are you truly leveraging the value of the cloud? What additional benefit have you delivered to the organization with that movement? This is where a lot of the value is, and it's an important step that we see a lot of people forgetting about. It's just about moving virtual machines from CapEx to OpEx, on-premises to the cloud. and that needs to change. Now, the hybrid cloud is generally where we see people settling. This is about where we're bringing together the best of on-premises technology and the cloud at the right mix for your organization. VMware have a cloud strategy that allows them to abstract from any public cloud. You can run vSphere on-premises, in AWS, in Azure, manage it together with the tools that you know and love. That is a great strategy for some organization. It's probably the simplest way to the cloud. However, there is a more native way. Azure Arc is the technology that Microsoft have been working on, allowing you to manage technologies in both the cloud and on-premises. And it's available today for a lot of workloads. But what was really exciting to me and Ben and the other people in our technical team was seeing that vSphere was being handled as a first-class citizen inside Azure Arc. So very soon you will be able to manage and run your workloads inside vSphere in your disconnected data centers across the globe, all from one place using Azure Arc. What a fantastic technology and what a fantastic coming together of the hybrid cloud. We were already probably using some of these technologies with things like Active Directory and Azure Active Directory. But I was previously a DBA, so I got probably a little bit too excited when I saw what was coming in SQL Server 2022. We all have SQL Server instances inside our infrastructure, supporting the most important applications that we've got. And SQL Server 2022 is a truly hybrid platform that you will be able to run to use your databases. You will be able to choose to run SQL in the cloud as a service, in a VM, or on premises. You will be able to choose to replicate your VM for DR, for continuity perspective, from on premises directly into Azure. You'll be able to choose to architect your SQL workloads in Azure and on premises working together at the same time. These kind of features, to me, show the true benefits of a hybrid cloud. And the most important element of that SQL Server is even if you decide to deploy it in a more traditional on-premises deployment, you can still use services like Azure Synapse in the cloud to look at your data, to create analytics, to give you real business value. So how do you start that journey to the cloud? What do you need to be doing? It doesn't start with technology. Technology is not the right place to start on your cloud journey. It's a very important aspect, but it's not right. This starts with vision and objectives. Think about what you need to be doing, what you need to be achieving. What does success look like in your cloud journey? And this is something that I say quite a lot. A vision doesn't necessarily need to be something that's achievable. It's a goal. It's something you would like to get to one day. Break it down into components. Constantly review it. See where you need to get, and then deliver goal posts on the way, goal markers on the way to help you with your objectives. The next is all about people. Who are the stakeholders inside your organization that can help you create the business case, help you ensure that there is value along the journey? Who are your champions that are going to help drive the cloud journey inside your organization? Who are they? What skills do they need to have? How are you able to leverage them on creating your strategy, your journey to the cloud? The next is the processes. What are the processes inside your organization? Would they work with a journey to the cloud? What benefits could there be? What won't work? Maybe you've got a manufacturing process and it really needs local compute. Wouldn't it make sense to move that into the cloud? Let's document them. Let's understand them. Let's see what you need to do. And then we get to the technology, the migration, the optimization, the looking after it. We then need to constantly review, understand how we could further innovate and get background from there. This is the most important aspect. This is the area we see customers not focusing on today. And if you have a journey to the cloud planned, maybe your virtual infrastructure is 2-3 years old and you need to be doing something with it, this is what you should be doing today. And this is exactly what we at Computer World are helping customers doing. If you have a look in the perks page, there are multiple sessions available. One of those is about a cloud strategy planning session with our lead architect, Ben, and the rest of his team. I highly recommend you take us up on that offer. Help us come in with the frameworks that we use to help you plan what that looks like. That's not going to tie you into doing everything with us. We just want to help you on the first step of the journey. And hopefully you will see the passion, the skill, the energy, the know-how that we have at Computer World and will want to choose to partner with us on those next stages. So in summary, we've reacted. Have we reflected? Have we reinvented? Where are you on that journey? What do you need to do to transform IT technology inside your business to deliver the outcomes that the business needs? How are you managing your technical debt, those traditional or legacy systems that constantly cause you pain? Could we at Computer World help you with that? With something like our vSphere Maintain service, with our managed support offerings? Is first-line support a burden, a challenge inside your organisation that you're not able to meet the expectations, you're not able to concentrate on what matters in delivering the projects? Could we help you with those first-line support challenges? Have you defined your objectives for a cloud journey? Do you have a strategy? Are you constantly reviewing that in some way? I can guarantee the majority of organisations that come to us don't have that strategy, have expectations they'll be in the cloud tomorrow, and it's very much like that P2V, and they're not able to truly leverage it, and they're burdened with their technical debt. You need to get ahead of this. That needs to be a journey. This needs to be a strategy. So identify the relevant people and start with your transformation journey today, and then understand your technology options. And Define Tomorrow is a great way to do that. We've got sessions after this by Microsoft as an introduction to Microsoft Azure. We've got the infrastructure as code session that I've already mentioned. We've got the cloud panel discussion as well. All of these things are there to help you. If you're already inside Azure, there will be sessions for you. If you're actually not really planning a cloud journey and you're here to hear the latest from VMware and Dell, join me on my session all about the virtual infrastructure. Join Mike and Paul on the sessions about VMware VxRail and Dell's PowerStore technology. There's something here for everyone. I hope you will find that useful. Those of you that are registered for the workshops this afternoon, you're going to get a lot of value from those workshops. Come to those workshops willing to engage, willing to discuss what you want to achieve in those sessions, and my professionals there are there to help you. If you've not registered for any of the afternoon workshops, and after hearing about them, you'd really like to understand a little bit more about that journey to the cloud, you'd like to work in a workshop session to start planning out what that looks like, to receive the questions that you need to have the answers to. If you email Georgia, her email address is on the screen, she will send you a link in Microsoft Teams to those meetings so you can join. I believe most of them are about an hour, hour and a half long. Thank you ever so much for joining me for this keynote presentation. I hope you have found it useful. There is so much content for you that we spent so much time preparing. I hope it is a useful 2 days to you. I will see you tomorrow for my keynote all about workspace transformation. Thank you for watching.